do retire, and it's important. But here, I'm saying some people endure their retirement, others enjoy. Our discussion today is on how to enjoy retirement rather than endure it. And that's a very, very important thing to actually discuss. Right at the beginning, I want to say one of the reasons why many people endure retirement is because they never planned. They never thought. They are not proactive. You know, there are three types of people. There are people who are proactive. Maybe I should. This way. I want to see these people at this corner. So it's good to see everybody. Yes. Because their eyes talk. You're telling me by seeing your eyes. So I think it's important to understand that for you to enjoy retirement, it will be important that your attitude about the future is based on being proactive rather than reactive. There are three types of people on earth. I hope in this group, all the three are not represented. The first group of people think about the future. I call them the unchanging type. It doesn't matter what we do to them. They say we are Kikuyus. That's the way we do things. Even if the thing is not working, they still do the same. My wife is a lecturer at this university, and I still remember her being invited to talk to a parents' meeting in a school. And she said the fellow facilitator asked the parents, when you were young, were you beaten? No, he's asking for a discussion. Were you beaten by your parents? The parents were very excited to answer. Yes, terrible, we were beaten. Now, everyone now wanted to talk about they are beaten. Second question, do you think you benefited out of it? And they all went, oh no. In other words, the beating, especially the kind of beating in those years, 1950s and 60s, was almost violence. So they said, no. Question number 3, do you do it? They said, oh yes. Question, even you never benefited, how will your children benefit? And many things we do, we actually have not thought through. We do them because they were done to us. Or everybody around us is doing it. And here in this first category, the unchanging type, you learn nothing from experience. You can sit on a chair and fall. 2 days later, you sit on the same chair. Why? That's where I'm the man of the house. This is where I normally sit. Not remember in 2 days ago, you are fair and you are to lift you. Now, the point is, when you say it sounds so untrue, you wonder, but check your own self. How many things do you do which are not useful to you, and you only do them because that's the way you do things? Think about it. How do you treat your wife? Is that the way your mother was treated? Did they work on your mother? Even if you work, how do you expect it to work on your wife? How do you treat your husband? Did it work? Has it ever worked with him anyway? It always backfires and they end up with a fight. Surely, if you know when you tell him something, it triggers a fight. Why do you say the same thing? It simply means you are preparing yourself for retirement of endurance. If you remain in that category, because obviously that's what. So you need to early learn that category is a very expensive category, where you do not learn anything from experience. At least, if you do something wrong, do it once. And if you see it has not worked, don't do it a second time. And I know I had a friend of mine, actually my boss, who was suffering from, what do you call the thing that goes to the toes and is very painful? Gout. Hey, my friend really believed in nyama choma. Every weekend, and we are not earning too little money, so we are not difficulty eating. Not every weekend, every day, plus every weekend. Then finally the doctor said, you are suffering from, and I knew, I had never known how serious that thing is until he came to the office and was crying like a child. I said, Francis, what's the problem? My toe. What has happened to your toe? That thing again. I said, surely. If you know Nyamachoma is doing this, if you are literally almost crying, and for a Kikuyu man to cry, it's not a small matter. How would you eat the meat? You know, he said, I'll stop it. Next time we went for a party, Francis was still taking Nyamachoma. So this thing is not a joke. And if we check ourselves, we discover many things in our relationships that we do that are simply a way of ensuring, if you continue that line, you are going to have problems in your retirement. One of the things that's bad with this is you see how your father behaved, how his retirement age ended. From the way you are doing things, you can predict you are going to be in exactly the same way. You know, like they say, one of our weaknesses as men is, and this is Kikuyu in English, we assume our wives. That's not English. We assume, in other words, all name in our Koana, in other words, he has no name. It is, she is the mother of my children. So what matters is not the childbearing machine. It is the child that came out of the machine. And it's an important thing to understand because it's a concept that is there. We took it from tradition and we are continuing the same level. The way you look after your children are proud of you as a father. But with their mother, nothing much. There is no friendship. There is a relationship, but no friendship. My wife is a Mwembu. And there's a time she went to visit. And she said she had the time to move from house to house. Not too long ago. When my father-in-law was sick. But since then he has died. And she noticed every home she went, the children left. Because that's what we prayed that they would do well. And they left. And she discovered it's the men and women left behind. And most of the women looked healthy. The men looked sickly, hungry and sickly. So you should find out what the problem is. It's simply they are not being fed. They never knew how to cook, don't have a kitchen. You know at home there is a place for the kitchen, that's a woman's place. So you eat when your wife decides, you eat. And if it is it's a fasting for 2 days. You fast for 2 days. So within no time, in your old age, in your 70s, 80s, without being proper food, and she is looking at herself, well, what is the problem? It's paytime. All the treatment, you looked at the children, you ignored the wife. Now in retirement, you are harvesting. Because the woman feels no sense of obligation. So the children come, and again, for reasons I have not studied to understand, children seem to side with the mother. I don't know why, but they will go. The children go home. They give 10,000 to the mother, and then he is given 500. And if you are not supposed to mention, you are not supposed to mention. Then the wife says, we haven't got meat. She wants even the 500 to buy the meat if he wants to prepare. And she was left with how much? 10,000.
Not culture.
That's
our culture.
And what is the answer? It's our culture. That's the way we do? That's the way we do things. So the guy will finally die. And he died out of the way he has been treated. Especially the people that used to physically handle. You get to a level where the woman is actually stronger than you. If you start a fight, you know who will win. physical, and there's no debate about it. Because you can see this carousel is emaciated. Can you try just a small hold by the wife? He can't undo the hand. So he also is wise. So there's no more fighting. But the wife has not forgotten the old fight. All that is, you are talking about people in the first category. And you need to ask yourself at this age, what is it that is showing you are in the category of the unchanging, who learn nothing from experience? Because if you're in that experience, please prepare to endure your old age. Second category of people are called reactive people. Reactive people are far much better than the unchanging. But then we don't talk much. We talk negatively. Oh, he's so reactive. We talk negatively. But you see, the positive thing about a reactive person is that he learns from experience. He is reacting to what has happened. He doesn't ignore it. Even if it has gone well, they ask themselves, how can I do this so that I keep getting this? If something has gone wrong, they ask themselves, what did I do wrong? What can I change? These are reactive people. People who study the experience. Whether good experience, bad experience. Now, if you are in that category, it means you still might suffer, but not for long. Because you will be changing. By the time you retire, you discover this is not working, you change. If you discover the way you treated your wife is baby, you find a way of placating the issue, making the person forget the history, because you know you are harvesting from history. So you start talking. There is something you can do about it. But you know, they are changing. That says, atafanyaje, atadu. That's what the young people say. Atadu, but you can really see what you're doing. So these reactive people are much better because they will not allow something to continue. They are going to do something about it on a continuous level. And fortunately, we are told Africans, we are reacting. We actually learn from experience. We study what is happening and we try to actually improve. The positive thing about reactive people is that they learn from experience. The negative one is that experience is a good teacher, but a very expensive teacher. You know, we keep saying experience is a good. No, it's actually a teacher, but not a good teacher. Because by the time, if you have gotten used to driving with one hand, then there's an emergency, and you are unable to return the car back to the road. When you're in hospital is when you'll be learning. You are reacting to it. I will no longer drive with one hand, but you already minus a leg. You know, so basically you have learned. But I'm repeating my statement. Experience is a teacher, but a very expensive teacher. So you better look for other ways of learning. And you only learn from experience if you're not anything. And that's what is negative about it. So, people who want to enjoy their retirement are not in those first two categories. They are in the third category. It's called proactive. The proactive person is totally different from the other two. He does not wait for experience. Well before he retires, he has what we call a dry run, like what you are doing today. You are not retired. It's not even coming very soon for Daktari. But you want to hear about it. You want to talk about it. And these things are saying, you are not stuck there. You can do something about it. So you are not going to be reactive. Proactive means you act before it happens. But they have two enemies. The proactive culture, the proactive viewpoint of the future has two enemies. The first enemy is culture. Our African traditions do not support being proactive. If the way that M is sitting, I can see he's going to fall. I can't tell him in Africa that you're about to fall. Because if he falls, what will his wife say? I'm a witch. So, so we say Kikuyu, that statement means we don't want to act. Let it happen. Somebody has been seeing your daughter at the corner with a boy, And you can say, hey, if this girl gets pregnant, I will understand. The mother is your friend, the father is your friend, you don't tell them. When you find out the girl is pregnant, you say, I knew it. I knew it. Now if you knew it, what did you do about it? So that idea of being proactive, thinking both about yourself and about your friends, and daring to point out before the things happen. You might turn out to be right or wrong, but the good thing about being proactive is that you certainly prevent it from happening. Even if it was not going to happen, so you have stopped it. Yeah. So if I feel in the way that you are sitting, you might fall. Maybe you are not going to fall. But now that he is conscious, he will start adjusting and think, can I change the seat? Has that been helpful? Yes. And the people who enjoy their retirement are people with that attitude of mind. They do not wait for something to happen. They imagine it happening, and after they imagine it happening, they ask themselves, what could stop it from happening? What are the possible barriers? You list them. Then you say, those barriers, is there a way of going over it, under it, or through it? Because I don't want that problem. I can see this happening in retirement. I can see being given no food that time. So what can I do to ensure I still get my food? So since you have thought about it in advance, you start talking about it now, and you start thinking, is that a possibility? Darling, could you do that to me? Or whatever. Then, yeah, you look at the time that to be done that. Now, then you begin as a joke, because at that time it's not really a big issue. And you are able to prevent it from it. So a proactive person imagines what can go well, and then thinks, how can I ensure it happens? He imagines what will go bad, and ask themselves, what can I do to stop it from? Then he does a bad thing. He actually assumes, despite all his efforts, the worst thing has happened. And ask themselves, if it actually happens, how can I reduce the impact? If this woman is going to fail to give me food, what can I do? Have a Java deliver food? You think in advance. No, it does not happen. Maybe it will never happen. But if it ever happens, you have the dial number. You know what you can do. It's important. And the moment you arrive and see higher. So even if it happens, I can survive. Like I told you, I work for Shell, and safety is one of the big issues in the petroleum industry. So we always imagine what can go wrong, then proactively ask what can we do to stop it from happening, and then say, in the case it happens, you must develop ERS, Emergency Response Plan. For example, I was in charge of logistics. I knew hospitals all over the route, Mombasa to Busia, for the transport of petroleum product to Uganda. And so we have thought in advance. If an accident happens in Nakuru, the Shell drivers can be taken without, you are in the hospital, that the hospital will not ask for any money. Once they have a Shell card to show they are from Shell, they will be taken. But then in the next, we have had that arrangement, but the next 10 years nobody ever has an accident. Not an issue. Because the day it ever happens, the difference between the guy dying and not dying is whether they will be dying wondering which hospital. Am I communicating? Yeah. So that's really what we are talking about. So to be proactive, that's what you need. But I told you the enemy of it is our culture. Our culture tells you if you imagine something going wrong, it will make it go wrong. In fact, the reason why the car fell is the car. Check, it has a color. This is the type that can be issue. So we don't, instead of dealing with the real problem, the African thinks it is the tongue of so and so that caused it to happen. And unfortunately, even if you have a PhD, those thoughts are put in your mind so young an age that it's very difficult to imagine that if I started, that's why they don't write wills. I'm not asking people to put up their hands who have written wills. But a lot of us, African women especially, don't write wills. You are one of them. Oh, you are confessing. But you see, writing a will not make you die. But there's something African. Higher. If I imagine dying, I am dying. In fact, imagining you are dying will stop you from dying. So that's really what we are talking about. Imagine the unlikely event, like you say in aviation. In the unlikely event that you die, what happens to your wife? Will your brother fight? I've just talked with a medical, one of the professors, but let me not say beyond that because you know who I'm talking about. Just when I was at Alliance Boys, she was in Alliance Girls, so we know each other from our high school days. I just thought like calling because I was in Kitale earlier in the week. Like I told you, I still consult. And then somebody saw one of my books from Kitale. Say, you know so and so. I didn't even know the person is known over there. So I decided to call the wife because the husband has died. My classmate, because she was in Alliance Girls, I was in Alliance Boys with her late husband. And you know, when she told me, you know, we buried him. I was involved in the burial. And she was telling me, you know, those people that are telling you excited about the uncle, they don't talk to me. Say, are you serious? Because that's a Christian family. Yeah, they don't talk to me at all. When their brother died, it's like I also died. I was very sorry. Because I know them. They are lawyers, but I've been to the rural home. I went to the rural home when I finished A-level in 1973, before going to university. So that's how close we are. I never imagined that the family would treat professor like that. Now you need to understand that to start imagining your case is special. Even this guy who owns what is he called? The minister. The rich man, the Chaco man, Karume. At least he tried to be proactive, but his proactiveness has backfired, didn't it? Because he gave a few of his friends, they are eating the money instead of giving it to their children. At least that's what we read in the newspaper, isn't it? So for you to sit here, imagining you will never die, or you will die earlier. Now you have to tell me when you have a conversation from God, and He told you who will die earlier. If no, how come you not with an will? And how will you, or that after all I'll be dead? It's true, you'll be dead, you'll not suffer. But why do you want you to suffer? But it's not, men are not as bad, women are worse. Because women are the ones who don't write a will, and they complicate issues with the other things. It's when you're thinking that it's a walkover. You discover, that one, the car belongs to the uncle. Or even that plot of land that my wife had was actually given to the sister. And you have started a fight, which was not necessary. Because there was no written will. They say, no man told me. Now it is important to understand, when you are not proactive, you are condemning yourself to pain when you are alive, enjoying the retirement, and trouble if you die. In fact, the best thing is you don't die earlier. If you are that type of person, please don't die earlier, because you will leave trouble with your spouse. So it's important to understand that this issue is all about being proactive. Catches up. But let me tell you the second problem. It's our Christian faith, and I believe many or all of us are Christians. A lot of people believe that to be proactive is to lack faith. Surely, Nanga. God is there, you look at my retirement. So it sounds like to start arranging in detail about your life after retirement is lack of faith. Yet, I would like somebody to read for me Luke chapter 14 from verse 28. Just to hear what God says about this issue of being proactive. Living in the future today, or imagining the future today and working to ensure the future is better. From verse 28. Luke 14. Are you there?
Yes, from 28, I will read from the NIV. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Would you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete? For if you lay the foundation and you are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, the person began to build and wasn't able to finish. Or suppose a king is about to go to war against another king. Won't he first sit down and consider whether he's able with 10,000 men to oppose the one who's coming against him with 20,000? If he is not able, he will send a delegation while the other is still a long way off and will ask for terms of peace. In the same way, those of you who do not give up everything, you cannot be my disciples.
You see what Jesus is saying? If you go to a project without a project plan, without being proactive, you end up halfway through the tower, you run out of money. Jesus is saying people laugh at you, and he doesn't seem to criticize the people laughing at you. You are laughable. So for you to reach retirement and you have never imagined the challenges of retirement, and then everyone meets you and you have no idea what you are doing, the people seem to be told to laugh at you. Because you see, God has given you a mind, isn't it? And he's saying here, don't begin the tower before you have a bit of quantities. So that you see how much will it take? 1 million. Do I have it? Am I likely to have it? If not, you don't start the project. Because the trouble with an uncompleted project is that your money is tied there, but you're not getting the benefit. We normally call them white elephants. So it's better to be still having your money and you're having interest than to have put it in a project which is not bringing the benefit it was intended to have. So you can see it's not biblically right to fail to be proactive and assume that you are lacking it. You know, Philippians chapter 4 verse 6 say, don't be anxious, but instead by prayer and supplication make your request known unto God, and the peace of God that surpasses your understanding will keep your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. Again it's saying, think ahead. But don't become worried because you can see things are going to be bad. Now you pray. In other words, a serious prayer, if that is English, is a person who is proactive. If you are not proactive, you are likely to have good prayers. Because you cannot imagine any issues. However, my next point I wanted to talk about is the attitude. We are still on the attitude of the future. Again, we are talking about 3 types of people. A person who is an optimist, and the other one is pessimist. Here, I want to tell you, an optimist is no better than a pessimist. They are both will not help you in your retirement. If you are an optimist, it means you never see anything going wrong, you see everything working. That's that guy, you know, that guy is an optimist. That's an insult. Never accept to be called that. Because to be called an optimist means you don't think, you don't envisage, you are not proactive, nor regarding the challenges in the future. And optimists have 3 problems. Because they are optimists, they can't prepare properly. They are the type of people who will start making the tower. They are the type of people who will go fighting 10,000 soldiers when he's only 1,000. Because you're not go through. He's an optimist. We'll win this war. We are winning. I know during elections, a lot of people lost their money that way. Well, you are sure. Why are you sure? I am sure. A friend of mine, one of my mentees, was standing for elections in Nakuru. So we talked, but when he didn't go through. So when he didn't go through, I now took him for tea, kind of a debriefing, and told me the problem is he was Jubilee, and they believe they are winning. He asked them how, what? He said, don't worry, near the elections, there will be a wave, Jubilee wave, to knock everybody. He kept waiting for the wave. That's an optimist. Because he told me he even went right up to the general secretary. What are we doing? How are you going to win? Don't worry, young man. We are winning. You'll be away. Now, so you need to understand, Jubilee is not alone. There are many people like that. Optimists. An optimist never imagine anything going wrong. An optimist, therefore, never prepared for anything going wrong. But that issue is worse. An optimist is traumatized when things go wrong. Because they never imagine it can go wrong. So when it goes wrong, it's trauma. You have a candidate for your hospital. A matter where other people would have, because they could see it coming, they prepare for it. For them, because they never imagined it will come, they are traumatized. That's why it's dangerous to be an optimist. But unfortunately, a pessimist is worse. A pessimist is a person who imagines nothing goes right. If your wife is a pessimist, please accept my sympathy. You go to London, you bring a dress. The best you know she likes. Then she looks at that dress and wonders, why is this guy buying me a dress? Because she cannot imagine. She doesn't believe anything goes right. Before I accept your dress, tell me where you went when you were in London. You are beginning a quarrel based on nothing. Because you are a pessimist. Pessimist, even when you give them good news, they want to punch it. It's not good news. Have you thought, don't you know, or with the pessimist, when you tell them, congratulations, you have passed, but somebody passed better than me. Now, that's on the subject. You passed. So a pessimist, that person who believes things cannot go right, has three problems also. Number one, because he's a pessimist, he can't achieve much. Because he cannot plan. You see, you have to have a chance, you have to give your brain a chance to imagine something, to start planning for it, isn't it? If you think it will not work, your hands will have no energy to do it. Remember, our subject is still how to enjoy retirement rather than enjoy it. So you think my retirement will be bad anyway. Will you do anything about it? No, you are sure it will go bad. It went good for my grandfather, it went good for my father. How can it be different now? It's also going to go bad. You know women. My grandmother did it, my wife did it, even me, I'm about to die. Now you need to understand, when you are a pessimist, you can never plan something because your mind is closed. Secondly, when you are a pessimist, you suffer before you suffer. When we actually used to say, a coward dies many times. And that is true. If you start imagining how bad your retirement is, do you know you don't wait to retire? You start suffering precariously. You bring the suffering earlier. You look like you don't give me food. Mr. Nana said there are women who like that. Now you start quarreling. Now, not because you have not been given food, but because you imagine one day you will not be given. So you cannot enjoy food now. Because in order to sympathize with it, when you miss it, tomorrow. My friend, if you are a pessimist, let's be clear. You are not only will you not enjoy retirement, even the years towards it. Every year you get closer to retirement, the pain is bigger. And you are doing nothing about stopping it. So let me be clear, a pessimist cannot have an enjoyable retirement. Because a pessimist, you have a pain on the leg, you imagine it's cancer. By the time the doctor tells you, it's just something that was there, you have been dead for 3 weeks before the doctor tells you there's nothing in it. Because you imagine it was cancer on day one. Am I right? Because a pessimist assumes, I don't know whether cancer, I don't know what the other disease, but at least now talking as a non-doctor, the cancer is the one that frightens people. I know you people may know worse things, but it's the one that frightens people. So you start imagining. Why can't you imagine it is not cancer? It's a matter that the doctor will just tell you to touch it with an ointment and it's over. Since you're not a doctor, you don't know which is which. And don't assume it will be cancer, assume it will be, I don't know what the alternative is. So but you see, if you're a pessimist, always you go for what will go bad. That way, if you are a pessimist, you tend to have very bad relationships with people. Because you see, since, like I told you earlier, you will be thinking negatively about people, you talk negatively. Somebody does something for you, when you're reporting it, you report it negatively. People try to avoid you. So in your retirement, you will be more lonely than the average pensioner. Because nobody wants to talk to you. You know, earlier you are the boss, they could not avoid you. Now the moment you retire, they now know how to avoid you. And these are things that will happen. So I really think, I've written a book called The Secret of Contentment. And I discuss this in the book. If you ever are near Secret Annual Bookshop, just pick a copy of the book, or The Secret of Contentment. Because I'm discussing that. But to me, it's not just in retirement, it's in life generally. You need, and the reason I wrote if you see the introduction, I say, I call it a secret. Because that's a secret. Because there are many people, and they don't enjoy their life. Surely this thing must be a secret. Because having money, having health, having wealth cannot bring contentment. So to look for it is a secret, and you need to think about it. So in the book I say, don't be a pessimist, don't be an optimist, be a realist. A realist is a person who looks at every future event from an optimist angle, then he puts a comma. From a pessimist angle, then puts a comma. Then now says, either could happen. How can I look at this matter realistically? He's a realist. So a realist will not assume things cannot go wrong, but he will do something about preventing them from going wrong. A realist will not assume things must go wrong. So he will not have the problems of the pessimist. Because although he is looking at the thing from that angle, he knows they don't necessarily have to happen. So he is able to deal with them. And to me, that's, in my life, that's what has helped me. Try to be a realist. Because if you are a pessimist, you have other problems. If you are an optimist, you have other problems. Being a realist means I look at every department of my life and see the possibility. I could get sick. I can't rule it out. So what do? Have a medical scheme. You know, a lot of people say, how can I have a medical scheme? It's waste of money. You keep giving the insurance you give them, and you never get sick. These people are making money out of us. Now, because you are an optimist. People without medical covers are called optimists. Because they feel like the other thing cannot really happen. And it can be quite a problem.
Can I answer the question?
Go right ahead.
Okay. I remember you mentioned you started with culture.
Yeah.
And then I remember we had a former Attorney General who told us not even to imagine that
the president can die.
So why did you play that?
That guy was manipulative. I don't believe him. He was just playing politics because Keheka and others.
He took people to court.
Yeah, but it was all a way of managing so that President Moi can take over. According to, I'm not a politician and I'm not a scientist, but I think it was all arranged. And I don't think Moi would have become a president without Jonjo. That's why it's such a pity that after all Jonjo did for Moi took him through a grueling period in order to silence him. Because it was all supposed to, because when you talk about his position of him dying, then you discuss with him who can take over. If you don't talk, then you can't talk about who takes over. And that's in his own mind, he was proactive. He was actually acting to prevent the people that were around him. including Kibaki, possibly taking over the government. And he actually worked it out until Moi became president. Yeah. Yeah, oh, that's now credit to Moi. Yeah.
Where would you put fear?
Fear.
In this?
Yeah, you know, fear is false imagination, F-E-A-R, appearing real. F-E-A-R, false imagination appearing real. So, it means, when I was talking about being proactive, imagining what can go right and what can go wrong, you are not doing it out of fear. You are actually doing it as a way of preparing to remove it. You are not acting out of fear, you are acting on the basis of wisdom. Fear paralyzes. If you have fear, you will not even be able to act, because you reach a level where you are paralyzed. So fear is not a positive thing. It's not good to have, because fear can make you do all kinds of things. But if you don't have fear, for example, instead of imagining you have cancer, the best thing is go to are they called oncologists? Yeah. And he'll tell you whether it is or it is not, and you move on. Because you're not suggesting you ignore it. I'm only saying do not imagine it has happened before it actually happens. And I think fear, daktari, that's what that does.
It's one of the things that really
stops people.
Has a big impact on the element of proactivity.
Yeah, that's very true.
But they have also said the opposite of faith. But then hope is a good companion and a very poor fighter.
Yeah, hope. You know, hope is the basis of the proactive guy. But if you cannot hope something can go right, if you cannot hope that what's likely to go wrong, you can manage it. Without hope, you can't actually have a future. In fact, people say that the people who commit suicide, the main cause is lack of hope. Nobody dies because of a problem. They die because they imagine the problem will last. The moment you have no hope, then you don't see the value for life. Because if you imagine, for example, if I'm doing something wrong to you, but you can see I'm likely to go home, you will survive. But if you think I'm going to be in the house forever, you might kill me or kill yourself, because you have lost hope. So hope is something very useful and important to actually have. But
the opposite of fear is really hope, or would it be?
It's faith. The opposite, fear is the opposite of faith. If you have faith, it means you trust somebody higher than you to actually help you out of the way. So you can't have fear. Faith and fear never exist in the same person. Every time you have fear, faith has taken off.
Now what is
You know, a lot of people mistake the word faith because they think faith is religious. No. For example, when Mary told me to sit here, I did not test whether the chair can take me. I trusted her. That means I have faith in her. I have faith in the class. Actually, it is impossible to live a life without faith. We move out of faith. Now, by the time you invited me, you invited on the basis that you can believe Gaki, and who is Gaki? Oh, that one. You can believe that she has had me somewhere, Mary has had me somewhere. You have never seen me or had me, but you have faith. From their previous way of acting, they did not look liars. So they look like you can believe what they are saying. So faith is that, actually, according to Hebrews 11, verse 1, faith is the substance of things hoped for. In other words, it's something you hope for, but you start acting like it is going to happen. Then you have faith. The Hebrews 11, verse 1. My next point, that was one point on preparing for, and I know I have to finish sooner or later, but I hope you find it useful because it's already 3 o'clock. My next point was you must have a vision, mission, and core values. People who enjoy retirement can give you a family, vision, mission, and core values. We normally develop vision statement for organizations, and we ourselves have none. You know, vision is a noun. Vision is encapsulating what will happen before it happens. It's a noun, it's vision. So if you don't have a vision, there will be a problem, because you are living life from day to day. You can't see far enough to be able to plan, even if you are proactive. So you must have vision. I normally tell people in my consultancy, when I'm helping them in writing vision, their personal vision, is that the first thing you must do is to imagine your 80th birthday. Now, unfortunately, I'm 70, so I think I'm feeling like moving it from 80. Because 80 is something so near. Now, but if you are talking with young people who are 20s, 30s, you say 80, they think it will not happen. So that's why I put it 80, that's far enough. And I ask them, what do you hear people saying during your 80th birthday? And I tell them to prepare 6 to 7 speeches that will be said. And you tell people in the birthday party, don't bother preparing speeches. I have prepared one for you. If you agree with it, just read it. When did you write that speech? When I was the age of 25. Because the speech is now talking what will have happened when I'm 80. That's vision. So you hear your spouse, oh, today is the birthday of my darling. I don't want you to know the impact he has had on my life. Write at least one page. If you can do half a page, it's still okay. But at least write one page of the impact you will have made on your spouse. So if you hear you have written down that my spouse has made me who I am. And you are writing it and you are not yet married. And you are writing that you say that. You have to ask yourself, what would I have done that could make her agree to read such a statement? Because you need vision is imagining what by the end of the road would you have accomplished. So write a speech. And the closest person is your spouse. So write a clear speech. If you hear her say, I really feel loved. For these 50 years, 60 years you have been married, the one thing that I have sensed is I feel loved because I'm loved, I'm secure, I'm able to do things because I have a home to go back to. Is that what you hear? You hear your spouse saying, what are you doing currently that will make your spouse agree to read? Because remember, if you are 80, you are also around 80, they are likely to read nonsense. So they look at it and throw it away and now give their real speech. So if you really are a person who is proactive, don't write something you wish. Write something you intend to work on. That's the way to start imagining your vision, because with that vision, you start your relationship with your spouse changes. Because now you have to live you live backwards. I don't know if you have read Steve Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I would really recommend you pick the book. He died the other day. And he says, productive life is always lived backwards. You first of all go there and then come back, live it. What you want to see there must be what you are doing now. So for you to write in the speech the kind of things you are writing, you must have, and by the way, you don't have to have achieved them. After all, if you are not 50 yet, means there is a whole over 20 years. So even if you have done errors for 20 years, you have another 20 errors to correct them. So don't write the way her life has been up to now. right the way you want it to be by the time you are 80. So, if you really want to enjoy your retirement, have clarity of what you want to, the kind of impact you want to make on your spouse. Speech number 2 is write a speech that will be read by your son. Remember, if you are 80, your son is 50, and he's a grandfather himself. He can't read nonsense. So, write the truth. Today is the birthday of my father, and one son or one daughter is reading on behalf of the other children. I just want you to know about our father and the impact our father or our mother has made on us. You know, I'm who I am because of my father. He is my dreamer. He is my, you're writing all that. What are you doing currently with them that will make them write that? The moment it's clear in your mind, vision is very powerful. It makes you live your life totally differently when there is something you are trying to achieve. Don't live your life, wow! There must be something, a name and objective you are living. I told you 6 speeches. How many have I done now so far? 2. The third speech will be read by a clansman, one of your cousins. Remember, all your uncles are dead. None of them will be alive. So it is your cousins who are likely to be alive. What impact are you making? When I say, I don't go to a wider family. All the children who call your grandfather, on your mother's side, on your father's side, these are people you meet in family meetings. Am I right? What impact are you likely to make? What do you hear them say during the birthday speech? That is speech number 3. Speech number 4 will be read by a member of your community. In the rural area, it's very easy to talk about your village. Since you are also a villager, what impact do you want to make in your village, or if it's in Nairobi, in your estate? What impact? Or there will be nothing on that page. Okay, you can throw the paper away. But if you intend that somebody will read something as a community representative, then write it. Because then what you write will start making you think, when I write home, I don't just sleep. There's an impact I need to make on my neighbors, on my village. Speech, those are how many speeches so far? 4. Speech number 5 will be from a professional colleague. In other words, a fellow doctor who knows you from the time you are in first year. Write a speech for him, not with his consultation, but because you are writing your dream, the kind of impact you want to make, not on him, but on the medical profession. We must remember Dr. So-and-so. Why? Today is the birthday of Dr. So-and-so, 80th birthday of Dr. So. What do you hear? What impact will you have made in your professional life? Or you just are a doctor. You turn in every day, you're a doctor. Or is there something you see in your vision? And because you don't have long to go, that one we agreed you are retiring soon. For somebody to say the things you are writing, there you don't have long to go. You need to start working on it now. The final speech is by your religious representative. If you are a Muslim, somebody from the mosque. If you are a Christian, somebody from the church, a kind of a spiritual leader who is about your age, because all the others will be dead. What do you hear them saying? The kingdom of God has changed because of this man. I just want to tell you a story from the time we were in campus together. See the impact he has made in the Christian Union, in life in the, my friend, I want you to see the spiritual impact of this guy as we celebrate his 80th birthday. If so far you have achieved nothing spiritual impact, you still have time. But you must start working on it now. Those are 6 speeches. The 7th one I said is optional. It's international impact. You see your vision going beyond, of course that's some of those things are easier to say when I'm in retirement than in reality. When I left campus, I never imagined myself ever going out of the country. But one of the jobs I did for Shell was covering 10 countries of Eastern Africa, from Madagascar, Mauritius, this region to Djibouti, Sudan, Ethiopia. So at least I had a chance to make impact. In fact, the other day I got a call from somebody in America. He Googled and saw John Nganga. Are you the John Nganga we met in Djibouti? He was an Ethiopian. I said, yes. I'm so and so. I'm the one who helped to promote him and transfer him to Djibouti from Addis Ababa. And so he told me his life was a young man not married. Now, so you need to ask yourself, do you see yourself making an impact internationally? Then write the 7th speech. If you see yourself as a rocker boy, leave that paper blank. Now, if you put all those 6 or 7 papers aside, you will notice something that's underlying all of them. All of them are repeating something about your impact. Out of that, draw a summary, one sentence that describes the kind of impact you have made. That is your vision statement. Could summarizes your total life and what you have made. Now, with a vision, 3 things happen. The moment you have a vision, you have motivation. Because you see, you retire like I left Shell. It is absolute money. In fact, I've been busier after Shell than in Shell. Because retirement does not affect vision. Vision is that you die. So the fact that you stop being employed means absolutely nothing to your vision. So it's important to understand it acts as a motivator. People that have a clear vision never rest even in retirement. I don't mean they don't relax. I mean they are not idle. During, they wake up asking, hey, why isn't it why the light has not come? Because they have something to wake up to. Because you see, 80th birthday is nearing, isn't it? And they can see they haven't done many of the things that are in the speeches. So they are motivated. Those kind of people don't endure their retirement, they enjoy it. And it's important to understand that's a very critical thing to do. Number 2, when you have clarity of vision, you actually plan your time. The vision itself sorts you out, and you start saying, immediately after I retire, this is what I'll do. Then this is what I'll do. This is what I'll do. You have really thought through. In order to achieve that, what am I going to do? So you are not only motivated, my friend, you have things to do. So if I can't do it in Shell, I can do it in my consultancy, isn't it? So I'll do it. I'll do it. If I can't talk, I can write, isn't it? Because remember, you're after that impact. But the impact is not made one way. It can be made in every. Now earlier, your body allows you to do certain things. As you get to 75, your body does not cooperate. But that doesn't stop you from. Your vision is still there, isn't it? Yes. So just look for a new way with the body functions. What can you do given your limited body functions to still be within? Yeah. So it means not only are you motivated, you have activities to do even during. So you can't be. Number 3, which is important, you have a spirit of contentment, satisfaction, because since you are not being measured by your wife. Even if your wife thinks you are hopeless, you know there are 6 speeches. I'm having trouble with one, but there are still 5 others. So you are not being measured by others. You are measuring self. Second quarrel. You are not comparing with others. What another doctor does is irrelevant to you. Because you are not trying to be better than. You are trying to be the best of yourself. Because people in retirement really suffer from comparison. I'm not like so and so. The sons of so and so are doing better than mine. What's wrong? Maybe it's the wife I married, because all 4 children are the mothers. Now you need to understand, the moment you go to comparison, you have condemned yourself to endure rather than enjoy. But if you have your clarity of vision, you know clearly what that does is that you compare yourself and you see yourself progressing. So people can find you smiling alone and think you are going mad. You're just enjoying your achievements. Because the achievement have nothing to do with what others think, and is not better or worse than. The important thing is you have your own life which you are living. And that's a very, very important thing. Thirdly, when you have that clarity of vision, it helps you to know what to say no to. Because anything that's not adding to that vision is a no-go zone. You don't do, if somebody has nothing to do, they don't do it with you. Because you have no idle time. You are clear what you want to achieve. So any people you work with is because they are assisting you to go to your vision. So no is not a sacred word. You easily tell people, no, sorry, that one my diary doesn't allow. Because you don't go to details why. But at least you have something to do. That is the story for a person who is going to enjoy his retirement. But he not only has a vision, he has a mission. The difference between vision and mission is that mission is a verb. Vision is a noun, what you have achieved. Mission is a verb, what you do in order to achieve the vision. What do you see yourself doing? You kind of summarize, and I don't have enough time to go into that. And then you also need, because you see the mission helps you to sharpen what to do about the vision. Because vision is a dream. It will never happen without a mission. And you must implement your mission for you to achieve your vision. Now, the third thing is you must have clear core values. What are core values? Core values are non-negotiable convictions. Non-negotiable convictions. The wife needs to develop her core values. The husband needs to develop her core values. Then the two must meet to agree the family core values. Non-negotiable convictions. They are called non-negotiable because they will never be debated on the table. If, for example, your core value is never to lie, you will not meet to discuss, is it white lie, black lie, is allowable, not allowable. Simply lying is out of your vocabulary. So it's a core value. What are your family core values? What are things? Okay, I'm rather late to raise this. It's like if your core value is to invest in your children more than invest for your children, it's a core value. Can you see the difference? Many families invest for, others invest in. If you're investing in a child, it means you have to have time for them. It means you may cancel and miss your promotion. Because for you, you have a sell by date. By the time the guy is 20, even if you want to invest in him, he's not available. Am I communicating? And most of you are there, so you know what I'm talking about. Where your son comes, smiles, you are talking, he doesn't disagree with you, but he is not interested. But there was a time you arrived home and your son jumped on you, and he was like a sponge. Everything you said was absorbed. That is the way to invest in a child. Spend all your time. That's when you have a choice. You have accumulated some money. You have a choice whether to take the family for a holiday or to buy a plot. Being a Kikuyu, what is the likely choice? A plot. Because that's what you leave for children. But your core value is investing in, not investing for. So what will you go? The tour. I still remember the first time I took my family to, when they were all very young, took them to Masai Mara. Hey, when I asked for a quotation, I realized this can buy several acres. And I was tempted to withdraw until I remembered. My wife and I have always talked about investing in, not investing for. It's important to understand that. Anyway, I'm only giving it as an example. What are your core values? Because the importance of our core values are their boundaries within which you travel. Here and here, I can only travel here. In other words, you are willing to be a failure in life if the only way to succeed is to operate outside your core values. When you operate outside your core values, you might succeed, but you'll never enjoy your life. Many people enjoy their retirement Because every time they hear there is a scandal, they wonder where they are going to be next. So, they made it, but they can't enjoy life. If you want to enjoy your life in retirement, don't have anything. You cannot say where you got from. Because it becomes, now you have more time in retirement, it keeps eating into your mind. But if you have led a clean life, or where you went wrong, you repented and corrected, you can welcome to a life in retirement that will be enjoyable, not just, one more thing, because I want us to allow discussion, and I've taken longer than I wanted. My next and last point is, if you want to enjoy your retirement, you must have very high adaptability quotient. There is intelligent content, emotional content, there is adaptability content, ability to adapt. There are so many things changing in retirement, and you are always in trouble. I think it's last night you were discussing with my wife, because she said, I don't know what has happened to my phone. Why? I'm the one paying the bills the whole day. I just opened and find, somebody called. But I never had. And she can't remember touching anything. But the phone has gone to silence. So therefore, people are calling. She can't hear, so she's not picking. And as a courteous person, you must ring. That's part of the problem. Old age makes you not adapt easily. So you are fighting with technology rather than adapting to technology. So you, in that mood of feeling what's wrong, it's like you want to die earlier. Because things are changing continuously. People who enjoy their retirement adapt where they need to adapt. Of course, they will still assess you are an old man, you can't just do things because others are doing. You don't join Facebook because your children are in it. I hear when you join Facebook, they run to another one. Now, but if you need it, you ask questions. Your children will be your lecturer. They tell you what is good with this, with this. If you find it is useful, you join it, isn't it? And that means you must be willing to learn. That means you buy your son a cup of tea for him to give you a lecture and to help you in various ways. Now, but that you need it. If you don't, you have condemned yourself to a life of endurance. So adaptability content is a very important issue in retirement. Adapting to the issues that are there too. And there are so many things that have changed. I never imagined when I was trying, things would change at the speed they have changed. I enjoy them. Like I run a website, but it's not credit, it's not mine. A young man from the university, I speak in the Christian Union. At least for the last 45 years, I've been speaking in the Christian Union in various campuses. And he said, John, I was in Mombasa. Mr. Nanga, you still preach in campus? Yes. But I'd like to hear you. I said, but you graduated. He said, no. You can still talk to us. I said, how? I will open a website for you. Whatever you tell them, put the material into the website and they'll reach us. I said, how? I will develop it for you. I said, no, I don't think I'm too old for that. The next time I was in Mombasa, this young person just was on my case until I gave in. And so now I run a website by my name, www.johnganga.org. And every week I drop an article, because that's what we agreed with the person who developed for me. And then I wondered who is going to read. She was able to subscribe about 50 people. You know how many people have subscribed so far? Over 3,000. All over the world, because now anybody can join. Just discover one or someone from China, someone from wherever they are subscribed. Now you know a church of 3,000, a very large church. Can you imagine what I was refusing because of my age? Now, that's what you need to understand with age. Then another person the other day, Nanga, why are you not in YouTube? I said, you what? Say, don't worry, I'll do it for you. I have a lot of young people I mentor. Within no time, say, please send me any audio or video you have. I sent. Then the next thing I knew, just say, check the account, John N. Nganga. And I discovered there's a YouTube account. Now I have maybe more than 100 videos in the YouTube. Now, that's adapting, isn't it? Where you do not insist, I'm old, I can't do something. And you enjoy your life. Thank you. It's the discussion time.
Thank you.